video game campaigns,
popular phobias, and discovered the tomb of Santa Claus.
Paint me a picture, fellas. Come on. Let me see what you got.
Welcome to another episode of Velocity Chaos! Hello and welcome here to the Velocity Chaos Podcast. We're coming to you at the speed of sound from the Hexapod Soundhouse on these sweet, sweet airwaves in Cleveland, Ohio. I go by Luke most of the time, and you can call this guy over here my sweet, awesome, wonderful co-host, Nick.
sometimes you can call me that, but you can always call this guy over here DJ Basecoat.
What's up, fellas? Just spraying on one layer for you today.
Thank you. Got to keep everything looking nice and glossy and good looking. Luke, what do we got going on in the show today?
Well, as we build up our foundation for the podcast, we're going to hit you guys with a little ramble on, and then we're going to move into Do You Know What's Popular? And we're going to bring it home with little boats based on a true story. Nick and I are going to pitch a movie based on something that we don't know it's going to be, but we'll figure it out as we get there. And just a reminder for our returning listeners, and a note for our new friends that here at the Velocity Chaos Podcast, we explore the highest heights of human knowledge and the lowest depths of crude humor. Our mission is to tickle that pink thing between ears, poke that frontal lobe, and sometimes just smash the laugh box. So hop in and buckle up for an infotainment ride across the airwaves.
And before we get into it, a reminder to follow us on Instagram at Velocity Chaos Pod, on Facebook, and on Twitter at Velocity Chaos P. Also, drop us some stars on Apple Podcasts, some love on Spotify, and toss us a sub on YouTube. We would really appreciate it if you also would set any of your audible listening to download so that those numbers come our way. Really appreciate it. Thanks as always for the support. All right, guys, just getting on into it in this first segment here. A ramble on, it's a little bit of a free rolling segment where we're just gonna kind of ramble for a little bit, but it's something that's actually been bothering me. So, giving a little coat of chest hair here. It's actually not bothering me like in that way, but I have had a complete lack of time to play through some of the video games that have been just building out my to-do list. And I grew up playing a lot of the fun ones, Donkey Kong Country and Donkey Kong 64, and you play through the campaigns. Those were the ones that kind of rooted me. I always liked somewhat of a story. I thought even the Nintendo, the NES versions, the Super NES versions of Donkey Kong were really great at building a world and a story. You met all the other Kongs and stuff like that. And then obviously with 3D and everything, it grew out from there. So I've always been a big fan of story driven campaign stuff. I know now they have the big open world stuff like Horizon Zero Dawn and a couple other. That's just the one that's been on my mind. And then you have stuff that's maybe a little more focused, like Uncharted, Tomb Raider, those kind of things. Even God of War, in some ways, was like very narrative driven, like pushing you kind of along the path. So my ramble on today is just like what video game campaigns have you guys just not been able to get your teeth into?
That's right. I got some chest hair. No, hey, man, video games are life. Video games are love. Video games are the way. Yeah. But I tried into your question of what have we tried to get into, and I could not get into The Witcher. I tried. I was like, everyone's like, oh, it's an awesome game. But it's just that open world concept that I can't deal with. I can't hang. I'm not explorative enough to go on. I'm not adventurous enough to go on that wild ride of like, hey, you go over here because you want to help everyone. It's like
wild hunt.
Yeah, some guy's like, oh, my sheep got away. And like, oh, I got to go help this guy with his sheep. And then, but then the main boss is over there. It's like, oh, I'm supposed to kill that guy, but I got to help this guy with his sheep. And then somebody's like, oh, could you pick me these flowers? And then you're just off doing these like little things. Like, I thought I was supposed to kill this guy over here.
Meanwhile, the ogre's just like scratching his head, like just whittling into his giant club, like waiting for you for like 5 days because it's just. What have you been doing, man? Yeah. Oh, you got these pretty flowers. You got like a daisy like crown around your head.
You look really nice.
Okay, so that's one that you haven't been able to get in. And the way I wanted to frame it too, just to help you guys out a little bit, is like if you had a whole vacation, like a 5-day vacation break, and you were just solely going to put it towards video games, like what would be on the list? And I'm even down for replays because there are a couple of replays that are on my list as well.
I'll let DJ Bass go get a layer in here.
Oh, yeah, you opened my world way up. I was just perusing through the old game store, and it's been a while since I've done like a quick run, 100% run through of Jack and Daxter, the OG.
Oh, yeah,
dude.
man. Dude.
I'll say a shout out to all my boys out there. When we used to do LAN parties, I would sit and everyone would like have fun and like play a couple different games. Like, all right, we're all jumping on this game. We're all jumping on COD. And I'd be sitting there like, Vig's still playing Jack and Daxter, and I'd be sitting there like people are just like feeding me through it too. But I'm just like, gotta get all the precursor eggs. I gotta get them all, dude.
Yeah.
It's just such a good game. Like I love like it's. For me, it was like that PlayStation era. It was like a little touch of open world with a little, but like it's all clearly a mission based. Like you're open world, but these paths are directly taking you where you need to go.
Yeah,
Dude,
So,
the
like,
one
classic.
The one is I'm looking it up. Is it the one? Is it the third one with the guns where they're a little older and like the destructibles
yeah.
of that are awesome with the cars. You can jack like different cars and
Yeah.
kind of ride around.
The
And
third one was kind of fun in bits, but yeah, I really dug into the OG. Once it started getting away from me, like I'm pretty like just stay with the classics. Like I was with you, I'm a big Donkey Kong 64 kind of guy, and I mean me and my family rocked that 100% a couple times. So
nice.
yeah.
I feel a replay. Like you, I do have one big one on my list for a redo, and that's Super Mario Sunshine. That was for the GameCube. And yeah.
That's all I played it for.
I watched my brother play through Super Mario Galaxy, and it looked really amazing. I just never, I never had was that on the Wii, I think, and I didn't put a lot of hours in on the Wii, but that's one I never got to play through. But him and I played through Super Mario Sunshine twice, and it's just endearing. I think maybe I'm like thirsting for that kind of like young adult kind of memory, and some of those games carry a lot of nostalgia for me, so I'd want to replay through that one. And the system's really cool because you get different attachments for the water pack, and sometimes it's shooting you through the water faster. Like if you're in the ocean, it had a big underwater component, which was really cool. And then you get like a super jump one that just launches you up, and the unlocking of different areas in the game is cool with the same mission of like, then obviously your real core objective is just to clean up this island town with your spray pack. So you're like spraying paint down, and the villains are really cool. I don't know. I thought it was cool. And the guys, the local guys are like these guys who are part plant, and they talk like, and like the guys are just a whole paragraph. It's just 30 seconds of that. and you hate it while you're there. And then, 15 years later, you're like, I could really go for some,
Really hit some. I think that's a thing that Mario did, or Nintendo, I guess in general, is just creating those captivating stories. And yeah, I guess it's the bright, pretty colors and everything, and the flowers and stars and everything. But yeah, Mario's definitely one to go back to every once in a while. I do have a newer, updated take on some of these, and it's a couple games that I've played partially through. One of them I beat it's Remnant from the Ashes, and it's up to 3 people, I believe. I don't know if they've updated it, but it's like zombie demon killing. So you're going through like a city corridor or something, or you're going through some sort of ancient ruins and something. And you and there's different few classes that you can play. I think they're making an updated, or coming out with a new version here soon. But playing with my buddy Sam and my brother and another guy, Van, he comments on YouTube sometimes, thanks. Kind of filtering some people in. And it was just out of the recent times within the last couple of years, one of the most fun experiences playing through that game. That's like story. It's have these demons and zombies taking over, and you have to kill them. And then each boss is kind of like a puzzle in a way, where it's like, it's not just okay, shoot this thing and kill him. No, it's you have to take out this beacon over here, shoot him for a little bit till it recharges, and then now these dogs are coming at you, stuff like that. That it's not just your run and gun and mow everything down. It's like we have to be tactical. Oh, you have a sniper, you have to take this guy out, or else we're getting screwed up here. So that's a fun one.
Compound bosses are cool.
Yeah, and those co-op, like if you can co-op anything, that's like a new territory of gaming that I'm discovering. Like I know that's been a thing, but that's a ball. Like Nathan loves doing that. He's been hooking me up with some of his buddies to play co-op like COD and stuff like that. But that element, like you said, you actually have to talk to each other, and especially if you get good friends who are into it, it's fun.
Multiplayer is great because it's online. You just jump in, you jump out. But the art of the co-op campaign, I feel like is really missing right now. I looked it up the other day. My brother, he spends a lot of time with me now, and we were like looking at top like co-op games for the PS5, and the list is so short. I'm sure like probably what is this Remnant on? Is it on Steam?
It's on Steam. Yeah.
Actually, I downloaded this.
It's a good one.
I recognize the logo now from that, and it was kind of well known for being kind of this compound or co-op version of a game. So like I remember Gears of War was great co-op. Some of the earlier Call of Duties had really good like co-op campaigns, and I think it's a lost art. Now it's a little bit more for like kids, like adults to play with a kid or whatever, but like a true like co-op campaign, I'm missing that right now.
Another fun one was Vermintide. And there's Vermintide 2, but there's a fun thing about that one. It's not zombies, it's rat zombies that take over. And then there's like rat necromancers and rat magi and brutes and everything. And all it's like Left 4 Dead, but with rats. And the Vermintide's coming just to take over. And there's these different like clerics and night stalkers. Like, so you have different characters you can take over, and mages with fire and everything. And they all have fun interactive voice chats and stuff. But that was another fun one where it's just hordes of rat zombies that come in. So with puzzles involved, that's another fun one if you're looking for that story and more challenging than just mowing stuff down.
Yeah,
these are cool. They're like little mini rat wolf, rat werewolf, were rats.
I was gonna dabble back into for one more replay. I'll leave those alone. But I know the open world thing, I'm kind of like you. I'm not too good on it, but like when I get like a weird craving every couple years to go back and play Skyrim. And I mean, because like one time it was like the one game I finally got into it, and I was going hard. Like I mean, I was like, okay, because normally with those games, I'll jump in as a level 1. All I have is like a pocket knife, and I try to shank like the biggest boss that's up. And they're like, nope. And the worst part is you'll get stuck there because you have to keep replaying it from that point. It's like, well, I just want to quit the game now. So I would really like to go back and play that. Plus, just the dragons in that game were awesome. There's so many cool mods in that game. One of my favorite things they did in there was they did a Macho Man Randy Savage mod for those PC players.
Nice.
And the dragons, instead of hearing the dragons roaring, you would just hear, Macho Man's coming. And when it landed and it breathed fire, it would just go, yeah! And it would just do like Macho Man quotes.
Yeah.
And it was and on the dragon head was Macho Man. Randy
Wow.
Savage.
Wow.
It was so funny. So I could really go for one of those. Like if you said like I had 5 days to just post up, that's probably what I would pick. That'd be one. So I could go back and do that.
I finally comes out all bearded. I finally finished it. It's like, Tim, it's open world. You can't finish it. And he just zones out. Just a couple really quick off my list that I just been calling my name. God of War, Valhalla. Still haven't gotten into. Sorry, Ragnarok. I was thinking of Assassin's Creed, which that is one I'm going to put on my no. I'm going to put that on my no. I tried playing the original one, and then I think it's sometimes it's like the podcast syndrome where you're like, I like this new podcast, but there's so many good things from the start. I'm going to start over and be a purist, and then it's like, I can't get through it. That's how I feel about the Assassin's Creed thing.
Yeah, third one's the best.
But Ragnarok, I had the unfortunate circumstances. I'm so privileged right now. I was porting over from a PlayStation 4 to a PS5, and I ported wrong. So like all my data for the playthrough I was doing on Horizon Zero Dawn, the first one, I didn't actually save the data. I saved the game, but not the data.
Oh.
So that one's kind of tough because it can be kind of lengthy, and that's actually a hard game. But I figured with the new one and all its great reviews, I was thinking it might be worth trying to power through the two of them. And then I just want to try to complete Uncharted. I have Uncharted 4 I got to do. Those other 3 games are great. I don't feel like I need to replay them, but I want to complete the series. And then, I mean, Tomb Raider, I've played them all except for the one with the orange cover. I don't know. I mean, they're just saying like Tomb Raider, awesome. Tomb Raider 2.5.3. Like it's just they're making up cool names for them now. It's hard for me to keep track of them, but I think those 4 probably. Did I say 4? 5. 4 games.
Yeah, sometimes you want to go back. Some of the Tomb Raider was good. I remember real quick story before I go on to what I wanted to say is this is back in middle school, I suppose, and we went bowling, went back to my brother's friend's house, and he was playing like, look, I got this Tomb Raider game. And he was playing it. Lights were off. and he unlocks some door, like what happened, and then he's just walking around, and he's like leaning forward. He was a big boy.
Yeah.
He was leaning forward on the like edge of the couch. And this bear just comes off from the screen. He gets so scared. He falls forward Chris Farley style and breaks his coffee table. It was one of the funniest things. I still remember that.
Yeah.
But back to that time of like early PlayStation games, one of my favorite games of all time, story-wise and gameplay, was Medieval. I don't know if that you're familiar.
Yeah.
With
I
Daniel
played.
Fortescue. That's a story. He like there's some ancient war and he gets shot in the eye. So he only has one eye and he comes back as a skeleton because this necromancer raises up all the dead people, but he's the only hero that got revived because he wasn't actually like he didn't make it into like Valhalla or whatever into the Hall of Heroes.
Yeah.
So that's my all-time favorite game and favorite story.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know. You guys might be able to offer a little window of advice on this one. There's like 2 new ones. I haven't played them, but we've been getting pushed to. Is I want to do the Cyberpunk games and play those through.
Oh.
And I was told BioShock's the jam. That's one that I might need to dig into. But I don't even know if there's a campaign of that. I don't even know. What BioShock's
No. I tried
Cyberpunk. I do, but
I'm not. I love the art from all the BioShock games, especially the first one underwater, and it's kind of the Art Deco style. But dude, I got maybe 20 minutes in that game. I freaked out. I mean, I'm not good with scary stuff. You guys know that, but like that game's so well designed that it really tries to push you into it and keep you in it. And that's one of the reasons it's so iconic. I wish you luck, but or you have to play it together. That was sometimes how I play it. Like Bloodborne, I remember I just watched playthroughs of Bloodborne because I'm like, I don't want the pressure. I don't want to have to figure it out. But again, the art and the world of like the Cthulhu kind of mythos behind that is really cool. Those old PlayStation games.
Well, yeah, Bloodborne, getting into Dark Souls. That's something. I mean, I beat the first one, but not the first time I tried it, and not a year later the second time I tried it. But like a year later, the third time I tried, I was like, I need to beat this game just for my manhood and my psyche. And I eventually powered through. It was one of the most rewarding things, but also one of the most frustrating things that I do not wish anyone to endure ever. I don't understand how people like those games where it's so incredibly difficult.
Sure.
Then you got people running through with no armor and just like a knife, and they're beating the game. You bastards.
just too good.
Well, thanks, guys. I mean, I just wanted to chat through that, and I hope I can check them off the list. I know it's not about I don't have time, but I don't make time. But, you know, like video games, when you're out there creating stuff, it's hard to sync even. I mean, some of these game playthroughs are 19 to 25 hours. Like the big ones are built out to be that. So that's a lot of, especially if you're a completionist like myself, that's my problem. The Witcher syndrome where you're talking about. It's like, I do want that art of, that little talisman thing that only I could find if I spent an hour on a side quest.
Yeah, you got that Witcher or Cyberpunk thing where it's just a giant world it's just yours for the taking. But it's all really important to sometimes just go back and think about things. But do you know what else is important? Putting stuff in places. It can be a hard thing to figure out. 1 minute it's on the table, next it's in a drawer, and then in a closet, and pretty soon it's lost somewhere obvious, like right there in your hand. Losing pens, chapstick, buy one and get one coupons, or even your favorite Pez dispenser can be the absolute worst. We will seek and ye shall find forget-me-not GPS system. That is FMN GPS. Uses small locators the size of a fly to create a triangulation network that helps you keep all of your most invaluables locked on target. Simply stick a locator on that little scrap of sentimental paper you have tucked in your pocket. Create a label in your user profile, and when you need it, you can find whatever you're looking for straight from your phone with the FMN GPS app. Go to the FMN GPS website today and at checkout use code VCP FMN GPS to get another 200 locators in your first order for just another $2. That's easy. That's that simple. This is not an actual product, service, or idea. Just in case you thought it was not. If there is something out there with the same name or unaware, have no affiliation, and offer no judgment on the actual product, service, or idea. And as we move on here, after a little bit of ramble on nostalgia, a little chest hair there for a little bit of it, I got something. I wonder if you guys, we talked about some popular things in the past, current, present, future, possibly. Do you know what's popular? the least popular phobias, or least common and weirdest phobias. I got a whole list. I got a list of 21. Like, we'll just keep it top 10. Maybe I'll give you some honorable mentions. But while most people have heard of common phobias, like fear of heights or acrophobia, or the fear of spiders, arachnophobia, or getting all your words misjumbled. I don't think that's a fear, but there are many strange, less talked about phobias, and here's a list of weird and rare phobias you may have never heard of. I don't know if you guys want to try to guess some weird and rare phobias before we get into it, or if you want me just to feed you some and guess what they are.
Ooh, both sound fun.
Yeah.
Throw me a couple. Like, what do you think people aren't afraid of, or what's weird things that people are afraid of?
Phobias.
That's
you're
a
on
real
there.
one. That's a real one.
Yeah, you got it.
Twigophobia, which is the fear of sticks.
Is that true? Okay.
Oh, you want me to give you real ones? I'm making these up.
I was gonna say I'm making them up, like tongueophobia, the fear of getting licked on the face.
No, right here, 21. Phobophobia, sorry. Fear of phobias.
Bam.
That's right at the end. Let's see, we got a fear of trophobia. That's fear of mirrors.
Oh, I thought we were guessing.
My bad.
What are you doing?
When we get to top 10, I'm giving you some of the honorable mentions.
Okay, all right.
I did find it. Xylophobia
Yeah.
is the fear of sticks or forests.
Oh,
It's for real.
nice. No, I think my wife has a fear of mirrors in a way. It's whenever you're like sleeping and like you have like a giant mirror in one of those rooms, that kind of freaks you out, doesn't it? You don't know.
Yeah, when I'm like laying there and I'm on my back and I wake up and I see the giant mirror on my ceiling,
Exactly.
like I'm scared of it.
Yeah, you're like, where am I? Am I there? Am I
And then
here?
I see
Yeah.
my, Adonis body and I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm safe with myself.
I'm in her.
I have a fear of Nick ASMRing the microphone every podcast. Don't even start. I got the hand of the fader.
I might have this one. Ergophobia. You got one. You can guess since you're so.
The fear of missing out.
No,
Like
that's FOMO.
ergo. The fear of people saying ergo on a sentence. I don't know.
No, it's a fear of work.
Oh.
I got that one. All right, here we go. Let's come up.
I got that too.
Pardon me. Oh, we already did this one. Number 10, hippopotamonstrosicryptophobia. You guys know that
The
one.
fear of really long words, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
that's that one.
Nailed it.
All right, let's come to number 9 here. Globophobia.
That sounds pretty self-explanatory.
Go for it then.
Fear of globes.
Yep.
Is that
No,
it?
it's not it.
Oh,
It's not.
the fear of traveling?
Nope.
Oh, fear of fat.
Nope.
Damn it.
It's
Oh, the fear
globular.
of spheres.
It's you guys are right there. It's
The
a
fear of gobstoppers.
yes, fear of balloons.
Ah.
Yes.
Globes.
Base,
They're basically floating globes.
I got one here for
I
you.
love globes. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I love big balloons.
brown
So you're a
little
globe guy.
calipigian. How about this one here? Optophobia.
Ooh, the fear of going blind. I'm sorry, I'm taking.
No, that's good. That's good.
Just run it.
The fear of octopuses.
Ooh, that's a good one.
No,
It's close.
No. Keep going. A couple more guesses.
Yeah. Quick.
Optophobia.
Spit 'em. Optophobia.
Fear of binoculars.
The fear of light. The fear of light.
That you're on the right track.
Fear of seeing the sun.
Oh, you
Looking
guys
directly into the sun.
more of everything.
Fear of looking directly into the sun.
The fear of everything being shiny.
Basically, the fear of opening one's eyes.
Wow.
Okay.
They can't handle the world around them.
You can't handle the truth.
All right, here I got one. I'm not mispronouncing or
You got to
mixing
hit
it
it
up.
this first time.
You got it? Oh,
I'm
here.
saying he's got to hit it the first time.
Okay. Octophobia.
This is the fear of octopuses.
This is the fear of having only 8 fingers.
Oh, you guys are close.
Fear of octocopters.
Yep. That's right there. Fear of the number 8.
Damn.
It's my favorite
Makes a lot
number,
of
so
sense.
I'm octo whatever like means.
Octo fetish.
Yeah, it's my fetish.
No fetishes.
Ablutophobia.
Ooh, the fear of eating too much and your stomach hurts.
The fear of BJs.
Could be.
Can you use it in a sentence?
That stinky man has a blutophobia.
Fear of men that have
Fear-
BO.
The fear of smelling bad.
No, opposite. Well,
Fear of smelling too good.
Someone else that
It's-
smells bad.
it's a fear of bathing, washing, or cleaning oneself.
Oh, why?
I don't know. It's gross. Oh, that's nasty.
Yeah.
Xanthophobia.
Oh shit! I know this one.
He does. He thinks he knows it.
I do, which means I don't really.
Give us that base coat.
Yeah, it's xanthophobia. They're afraid of xenomorphs.
Yeah.
The fear of gummy bears.
You're on the right track.
I know
in a way.
xanthophobia. All right, so xanthan gum is that stuff.
Xantho.
Yeah, well, gummies is real or
Oh, the
candy?
fear of sticky things.
Okay, don't think gummies, but what's a characteristic of gummies?
Candy,
Chewy.
sugar, fear of sugar,
No.
They're
Well, give me a characteristic.
gummies.
chewy,
No.
tasty.
Just looking at them.
They're colorful.
Okay.
Fear of bright colors.
Okay, give me a specific.
Fear of the color green.
Yellow. Yes, you're right. Nice. That base coat. The xanthophobia is the fear of the color yellow. So it's usually, fear of objects that are that color, like school buses or flowers, stuff like that.
Oh, there's a lot.
That's where you come. Okay, here we go. Plutophobia. This is number 4 for those at home counting.
Fear of death.
No.
Fear of tiny planets.
That's a good guess,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
but it's not on the right track. But
Okay.
I see where you went.
Okay.
Ooh, fear of being the smallest person in the room.
That'd be a good one.
Fear of getting kicked out of the club.
Hey, man.
Fear of being out of orbit.
Plutophobia. Pluto. Fear of dogs. Fear of dogs with short hair.
It's
The fear of yellow dogs.
This is the root of all evil.
Fear of the devil.
Fear of women.
Yep. That's it. Right? The plutophobia is fear of money.
Wow.
It's fear of money
What?
or wealth.
How'd they get that?
I need to hang
They
out with some
don't- it's-
Plutophobes.
yeah.
Money's the root of all
Hey,
evil.
I'll take all your evil away from you.
Yeah.
No problem.
You work, I'll take the money. That's it.
Bring your evil to me.
So
I'm a work phobic and you're a Pluto.
next sister wife, she gotta be a plutophobic.
What is the fear of work again? That one,
It is. Give me one moment here. Ergophobia. Ergophobia.
dude. You're an ergophobia. She's a freaking Taurus. You're great.
I'm a Plutophobe. We're good to go.
I got you. As we wind down here on number 3, arithmophobia.
Take it.
This is the fear of heart attacks.
Fear of counting.
That you're right there. It's fear of numbers.
Okay.
So fear of counting. That's you're right there. Yeah, Count Dracula.
2.
All right, here we go. You guys got this one. Nomophobia. Nomophobia.
Fear of not having a phobia.
Ooh, you get left out because you're not afraid of anything, but you're so afraid of not having anything that you're afraid of not having anything.
It's the fear of Phil Collins songs. No mo. No mo. No mo. No mo.
No. It's possibly FOMO in a way.
Nomo.
FOMO.
Fear of
FOMO.
not being able to miss out anymore.
Fear of not being here.
But it's a
No.
weird one.
It's you guys are basically right there. It's nomophobia is the fear of being without your mobile phone. If you don't have a mobile phone, who are you? You're not anybody at that point.
Practically dead.
You're practically.
I like how the etymologists really phoned that one in. They're just like, look, guys, like we're dealing with all these like millennial teenagers and all these millennial adults and all these Gen Xers and Gen Zers and everybody's afraid of everything. Like, I'm tired, man. Like, what's this one? Afraid of phones. No, Mo. Done.
Nailed it.
No
Send it.
mofo.
Before we get to number 1, I think I got this one. Decidophobia.
I can't quite figure out what I'm gonna say.
Yeah. I'm kind of afraid to say my answer. Really.
I'm a little nervous about committing to what I think it is.
I don't know what. I mean, what could it mean? Really, I don't know.
I don't know either. I can't. I don't want to pick.
It's a fear of you guys making foolish decisions.
Just any decisions. Yeah. Yes. Decidophobia.
Why you gotta go there with it?
You think I have that? I don't know. Who knows?
You got something.
All right. Pardon my pronunciation on this one, but I am going to try my best. Woo-wee. All right. I'm sorry, everyone out there. Arachibutyrophobia. No. Arachibutyrophobia. Arachibutyrofobia.
Go again.
Arachibutyrophobia.
Very good. Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you.
A fear of getting drafted into the military
That's a good
post
one.
post 2001.
Whoa. I think. No, it's definitely the fear of drowning in a pool of flaming spiders.
That's right there. So
This fear
You-
COVID.
fear of COVID. Okay. You got one more base coat. We'll get another layer.
Yeah, fear of getting covered in too many layers of paint and drowning.
That's close. Arachibutyrophobia is the fear of peanut butter sticking to the roof of your mouth. Well,
Who's coming up with that? That guy's like, the other guy was retired. Like you got the Benny who's like, okay, afraid of not having a phone. No more phobia. And then you got super guy over here, super phobia expert over here who's like getting into the weeds, man. He's like fear of getting microplastics in your brainstem. Like he's like giving phobias on that stuff.
He's going to the root word, man. He's going back a couple hundred years.
yeah, we'll get that list out there. But yeah, if you want to know the weirdest and rarest phobias, check it out.
Fear of Jones soda cap popping out and hitting your eye. What's that one?
That's pretty up there. I fear that all the time.
Jones cap, no cap phobia. Oh man, I wonder what the fear of being without your work desk would be. We'll have to find out. But there's a lot of other things, like people who are afraid of not having a place to put their inkwell in public, or they get anxiety because they don't have an in shelf and an out shelf to place all their papers on when they're on vacation. I mean, that just begs the question, do you need something to just take a nice little lean on when you're waiting in line at the movies? Then you will love DeskBot. DeskBot is the latest tech in AI coupled with a robotic system that would make Elon Musk envious. DeskBot is a desk on legs that follows you around and caters to any office-like urges you may have in public. DeskBot comes in features like Translate, only available in Norwegian and Finnish, password-protected file drawers, so long as your password is fishy209, I am a llama 6 or 1234, and Shoe Shiner, currently only servicing blue suede shoes. If you need a little buddy like DeskBot in your life, call our hotline and open with "I like the bot" for 42.5% discounts. This is not an actual product service idea, just in case you thought it was. It's not. If there is something out there with the same name, we are unaware and have no affiliation on with the actual product, service, or idea.
All right, we're going to take a step here into DJ Basecoat's studio here, and he's going to take on a different set of pants, a different layer of clothing. Is DJ producer Basecoat. How you doing?
I'm doing good, fellas. Hey, welcome to the studio. Listen, I just really want you to lay down a nice, good foundation. Give me something a little colorful for me, but not too colorful, because it's just give me the basics.
We got the basics, and I know we're getting into the point of summer, but you know what we got to look forward to? We got to look towards Christmas right now. If we want to get hot and we want that smash Christmas hit, we got to start right now, right before the midway through the year. So we got something special coming for you. It doesn't have to go that way, but we just want a little taste of it, because you know what sells? You know what's that good layer of fresh pow? Is that fresh lining of money in your pocket from Christmas movies, because people eat that shit up.
Oh, yeah, come on, hit me.
We're going to paint you a picture of a movie that we've been working on that's based on a true story, all right?
Yeah.
And we even had some participants write in, some fans of ours in our previous work. They wrote in. We crowdsourced some of the dialogue in the film. So we'll be sure to share that with you as we go. But take it away, Luke.
All right, here we go. The log line of the movie is, archaeologists believe they've discovered the tomb of Santa Claus.
Oh, my goodness. Paint me a picture, fellas. Come on. Let me see what you got.
So we open out in the great wasteland of Finland, up in the mountains. Beautiful. I'm just kidding. It's not a wasteland. It's beautiful. Fjords everywhere, and there's a lot of cool landscapes. And we're right in on it. We're right in on it with our hero, Jack Spelling Bee. Jack
Something different.
His name's Jack Flippants.
Should be something different.
His name, what was the other name we were going to call him? It was Jack Superfluous. That was his name.
Something different.
Rodrigo Marquez.
Something different.
Stan Van Winkle.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Stan Van Winkle.
Like Stan.
So anyway, Stan Van Winkle, he's like, I mean, it's that hero shot. It's just like we're cruising over the fjords, come up to this big cool mountain, and it's Stan Van Winkle, and Stan is just got the cool like goggles on and everything, and he looked down into this valley, and he sees this like old ancient path with all these cool like stones, and he goes up and he goes up to this cool carved out door, and he looks inside. He opens it up with like opens his book, looks at his notes, opens it up with a cool little, pokes a little like trigger here, pulls a little lever here, opens the door. It's almost like it was made in a beautiful, brilliant workshop.
Oh, what is this thing? I must turn knobs here. Cool. And he starts turning these knobs and pulling levers, and you hear all these mechanisms going, and all of a sudden, the floor starts shaking a little bit. Some powder starts falling down on his shoulders. Some fresh powder, none of that cheap stuff. This is not fresh powder. This is old stuff. Okay, this is old Icelandic, Finland, fresh powder coming off of these fjords. And so this door starts opening, and a little mist rolls through. It's
Should be something different.
a bat flies out.
No, should be something different.
A beautiful flock of doves, a pack of pigeons, mourning doves, fly out of this tomb or this cave, and this Stan walks in and says, "Whoa, that was a cool magic trick." And he walks in and he's looking around and he sees it looks like someone's garage attic.
There should be something different.
It looks like someone's basement where they just got too much stuff. And like there's these candy canes, there's these like rope lights and everything. There's all this like Christmas stuff that's just piled up and thrown everywhere.
And so he gets to the end of the room though, and like he's like looking around, and underneath all these thingamajigs and ding dongs and little things, he like finds this big altar-y kind of looking tomb, and he like brushes all the stuff off of it, and he like looks at the lid, and he has like a cool little like camera with him, and he's like recording himself as an adventure, and he's like live streaming it to all his fans out there, and he's just like, "Hello everybody," and he says right into the phone, he goes, this comes in from a reader of ours, Harry T. He says, "Hello everybody, if you can't convince them, confuse them." And so he starts into this huge diatribe, and as he leans on the tomb, he's like confusing everybody on his podcast because he's just a confusing person sometimes. The lid of the tomb slides over because he was leaning on it, and it just opens up, and inside he finds a wrapped up like mummy with a giant beard coming out from under the wraps.
And you hear
It sounds something different.
You're oh, what is this Christmas wonderland? And he's like, he sees that he's starting to lose connection here. There must be some sort of magic stuff going off. Oh, who's awakened me from my slumber? And
It says something different.
he says, "God damn it! Shut that door!"
It says something different.
Oh, is that you? Is that you, Stan?
Yeah, he says something different.
All right, let's actually check this here. We had someone write in something from John T. He says, "Oh, some may have more talent, but there's no excuse for anyone working harder than you, Stan." And Stan looks around. He's like, "What? Do you know who I am?" "Yes, I know all of your secrets, Stan." And as the rest of the tomb starts falling off, "I know you've worked so hard your entire life for this one special moment because you're one special little boy."
And so anyway, the mummy sits up, and Santa Claus comes out, and he was actually like asleep. He explains that he was put there by a villainous Jack Frost, who over the last 20 years, because Stan is 30, so like Santa Claus knew him up till he was 10. I had to make sure our timeline was in order for a second. So anyway, he's just like, look, this bastard Jack Frost took over Christmas, and he put me in this tomb, and he hid me in here with all my doodads and trinkets and ding dongs. But you explorer Stan von Winkle, you came and found me because you are a good Christmas boy. And he's like, I'm a man. He's like, it's okay, boy. And he's like, I'm 30. And he's like, it's okay, boy. Ho, ho, ho. And so then he's like, will you help me like go out and defeat Jack Frost? And of course, Stan von Winkle is like, sure, but can you say that again when we have internet? And he's like, absolutely, let's go. So they go back to the little village that Stan's in, and Santa is kind of like in some clothes that are not really well fitting for him because I guess Jack Frost is just a pervert and didn't, took all his clothes, just left them there. And so they give him some clothes. But essentially the whole need of the film is Stan and Santa going out and looking for Jack Frost. And it turns into kind of like a John Wick style action film. And they decide to go back to the inn, and they meet the innkeeper there. And they're like,
they meet somebody different.
They meet actually, like, Santa's like, all right, we got to track down this guy in the village who is part of the like cartel, the Jack Frost cartel. And so they're in there. The guy walks in, and Santa's like, I'll handle this. And he walks right up to the guy's table, and he's just like, listen, Jorgensen. and he says, it's just like my mama used to say, a bird in your jimmies is worth more than two in your friends.
I think you should say something different.
All right. Well, he says, this is the line
as a backup.
He says, if his IQ slips any lower, he'll have we'll have to water him twice a day.
I think it should be something different.
He says, they misunderestimated me this time.
Yeah.
And Jorgensen's like, we did underestimate you, Santa Claus, but you're not going to get anything out of me. And then he like goes on and runs a little action scene, but like Santa's way quicker than you think. And he chases this guy down, Jorgensen, and breaks his arm. And Stan's like, whoa, I didn't sign up for this. I'm not like violent type. And like Santa's just like in the alley, just like kicking this guy in the head. And Jorgensen is like, all right, I'll tell you. And you get the answer out of it.
And you're always beating up Jorgensen, and he says, "Oh, okay, I'll tell you. I spill." And so he says, Jack Frost, he's up in Norway.
He's somewhere different.
He's up in Canada.
He's somewhere different.
I swear, he's in Montreal. Believe me.
He's somewhere different.
No, okay, he's in. You got me. He's vacationing in the Poconos. That's where he is. Yes. Oh, yes, that's where we must go. We must go to the Poconos. Okay, as long as they have internet there, I am cool, Santa Claus. So then they go to the Poconos, and they find out, they stop into a bar, and they say, I'm looking for a real fruity fella. Have you seen him? He pulls out a crudely drawn picture of Jack Frost with blue frosted tips, and the bartender's like, "Yeah, well, actually, now that you mention it," and this comes in this line from Wayne. He says, "You mention it." He says, "You look like a 12-year-old Dutch girl." That's what that guy looks like, and I've seen him. He's up that mountain there.
And Stan's like, I'm a man. I am a 30-year-old man.
Could have sworn you were a little Dutch boy. The Dutch girl.
Dutch girl. And I'm from Finland is what he said.
Yeah. I thought he was a little boy. And then so they're just ripping on Stan Van Winkle for a little bit. And then so the bartender was like, yeah, I've seen Frosty once in a while. So yeah, actually he hangs out at the underground.
He hangs out somewhere different.
He hangs out at the Y.
He's out somewhere different.
He hangs out at the old ladies book club after hours.
Somewhere different.
You know where he hangs out? He hangs out where all the bad people hang out. Nick, you know where he hangs out.
He doesn't like my bar, so he hangs out down the street at the Ice Cube.
Okay.
All right, cool. We're with that one. All right, so they go down to the Ice Cube. It's getting late, and they like Santa's like, look, man, I got to find some blow fast or it's not going to be good. And so let's take care of this lickety split. So they go in and they're after Frosty. And turns out that it's not Jack Frost, it's Frosty the Snowman, as they call him. And the bartender was like, he was talking about Frost, but different Frost. And Frosty the Snowman is one of Jack Frost's henchmen. And so they find him again. There's a little bit more violence. Like Stan is still uncomfortable with all this. They're like, essentially Santa like breaks a pool stick over Frosty's head and like is threatening him with the pointy end. And he
holds a candle to him.
Yeah. And he's like, Stan, hold this, and like don't let him go. And like Santa goes in the back room for a second, comes back, and his beard's a little whiter. Anyway, like the whole point is that they keep rounding up all these like henchmen from Jack Frost's like gang essentially around the world. And there's like one time where they corner like the Easter Bunny and down in Guatemala. And there's this really crazy scene where like Santa's like holding him over the edge of a volcano, and he's just like, to the Easter Bunny, he's like, listen, man, he's like, if we're not meant to have midnight snacks, why is there a light in the fridge? And Easter Bunny like, I don't know anything. I don't know. And he's like, well, then just tell me where the next guy is. And the Easter Bunny tells him where it is. So it's just like this big adventure of Stan and Santa just committing these violent acts against all these like real life fictional holiday characters.
Yeah. Then the gingerbread, like, so we just have like montage him going around, the map flying everywhere around. And then one day, Stan and Santa Claus sit down, and Santa Claus is like, I don't know what to do. We can't find him. And then we hear this little voice just pop up. So, heard you're looking for Jack Frost. And deep drag of a cigarette. And then coming out from the shadows is the gingerbread man. I can tell you a thing or two about where Jack Frost is. All you gotta do is give me some new gumdrop buttons. Oh my God, Gingy, it's you. Oh, it's so good to see you. How good to see you, pal. Let's get this brat bastard. And so I've been tracking him, and you know what? You know what really chaps my ass about Jack Frost? And then Ginger says, and this line was written by Christ. Oh, sorry, not Christ. Chris T. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? That bastard took everything from me. So he tells him he knows exactly where Jack Frost is. He's living in your old pad at the North Pole. I can't believe you haven't looked there. So he's like, oh my God, it makes so much sense now. And then Stan's like, oh, we get to go to North Pole. He's like, shut up, you little Dutch girl. Yeah, that's where we're going. And so they fly up to the North Pole, and
they find they're like, we got to find a transpo up there. And so Gingerbread Man is like, I know just the girl. And so they like go out to this airfield, and Lil Bo Peep, she's got like this really cool flock of different airplanes. And so she grabs this big old mail plane, and she's like, what's in it for me? And Santa's like, I'll give you Stan. And she goes, well, what am I going to do with a little Dutch boy? I'm 30 years old. And Stan is just berated again. Everyone's ripping on Stan. And so Santa's like, look, I know you're an expecting single mom, you got a little bun in the oven on the way. Like, I'll make sure that kid has the best Christmases for the rest of his life. And she's like, all right, deal. And so they fly up to the North Pole. Along the way, they stop by a giant reindeer farm because they got to get reinforcements. So all the reindeer, like, Santa gets off the plane and goes into the cool, like, log cabin where all the reindeer live, and Rudolph's there. And it's this amazing moment where, like, Rudolph looks up from the bar and he's just like, you son of a bitch. And they like walk up to each other, and hoof and hand just mega clap resounding. And Rudolph is just like, wait, you want something different?
I was gonna say something different, but it doesn't.
He looks around the bar and he's like, hey, guys, look who's here. And he's like, This is from Karen. You can't win them all, kid, but you sure as hell could cry trying.
That's just something different.
Rudolph says, this one's for the good times. All right.
All right, that's good.
All right.
That's good.
This one's for the good times, he says, as they embrace. Oh, Rudy, you old rascal, here you are. I gotta take out Jack Frost, and we're gonna kill that bastard. And then so they pull up they ride up to the North Pole, and they see Santa's igloo, like where he was living, and they look in the window, and they see sitting at the table with his feet up on the table, leaning back, and who's in the kitchen making up a nice dinner is Mrs. Claus, and begrudge. You can see. She has a blank look on her face, but serving Jack Frost.
But this ain't the traditional Mrs. Claus. This is like we're trying to get Cherise for this. Like we're trying to get Jennifer Garner, somebody like that.
Okay.
Walks over and gives him his food and curtsies, whatever. He gives her a smack on the ass, and she winces a little bit. And Santa pops in, and he's like, "Oh no!" And he busts in the door. Kicks it on with his size 16 big black boot. And then you see Gingerbread Man step in. It is here, motherfucker.
He says something different.
He says, you know what he says? He says, well, actually, Rudy, he says, I'll be back. That was from Arnie. And then when Gingy says, he says, You know what I've always wanted in a lover? Someone who understands the subtle art of gifting a pineapple. And today, Jack Frost, is your day. I'm going to give you a pineapple. Right up your ass.
And so then it just turns into like a cool action scene because Jack Frost has all these henchmen that are like they're snowmen, like Frosty the Snowman is like there with all his goons, and the igloo, like Jack Frost, like slides down into like the workshop, which is like under the ice, and this is cool like reveal of what the North Pole really looks like, and that's where everybody is and hanging out, and it's like a cool action scene, and Rudy takes a bullet, but is just wounded, and Blitzer and Donner, like they're out there just karate kicking everybody in the face, and Bo Peep is she's just like handling it. Everybody's at full attack mode except for Stan, who's just running around with his camcorder like, oh my god, holy shit, and he's just like
he should say something different.
he's just running around, and he just says I don't know what you're talking about, nor do I care. All that matters is that we get out of here and post up in a quiet spot for some passionate necking. So the only thing, and that was to Bo Peep. Like he's really into, Bo Peep, and they have a little thing going on. Obviously, we're gonna build that out a little bit, but and she's like, what are you talking about? Like, and they can connect. So finally, it culminates with a duel between Santa and Jack Frost, and he's got Mrs. Claus, like, and he's got like a giant icicle to her neck, and he's just like holding it, and he's like, don't move, Claus, don't move, and
big old showdown, and they're like they're standing off, camera, we're gonna have some sweet camera movements here, but they're looking at each other, and he says Santa Claus is like, he's like fingering his candy cane on his hip, He's like, are you feeling lucky right now?
He says something different.
He says, you know what he says? And this was written by one of our best. This is written by Abraham. He says, you know what, Frost? The best thing about the future is that it comes one day at a time. and he says, second best thing, and you see Rudolph coming in flying from the top of the dome. He crashes through and crashes on top of Frost and Mrs. Claus, knocking Mrs. Claus out of the way, saving the day. And then that's when Rudy's like, I told you I'll be back. And then he knocks off. And then Santa Claus goes over to Mrs. Claus and embraces her, and thinking that that Jack Frost is taken care of with Rudolph, and they're embracing. Like, I missed you so much, and then we just look around and Jack Frost is gone, but they go back to their home, and then after all warm stuff happens. I happily ever after. I missed you. I didn't. I waited for you and everything, and cut ending scene here after everything kind of closes up. We just see Jack Frost tied up, and Gingy just has him in a room. You son of a bitch! You scraped the icing off of every inch of my body. Well, I'm gonna scrape off of every single icicle on yours. That's for Gingy to get his revenge.
He's just sharpening a candy cane like on a little wheel, and we just kind of pan out of the room, and we just crossfade over, and we're down in the Caribbean, and it's just Stan and Bo Peep and the Clauses hanging out on the beach with Rudy mixing cocktails.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can dig it, fellas. What are we gonna call this movie?
Christmas comes once a year.
I think maybe something different.
Should be you like candy canes.
Yeah, it should be something different.
Yeah.
The Igloo Chronicles.
Yeah, maybe something different.
It's I'll Be Home for Christmas.
Ooh, that's we backburner for that one. But
Okay.
give me something different. Give me an audible. Give me something different.
Jack v. Claus.
Give me something different. Give me like a two-parter. Give me something.
Yeah.
I want a title with a follow-up.
Merry
Something
Christmas, The Tomb of Santa Claus.
Okay. All right.
No, bitch.
Well, it could be like a sequel thing.
Yeah.
No, 2. No, 3. No, 4. I can go on and
It's
on and
a
on.
lot. We got a lot.
I like it.
What do you like? I mean,
I like this. What was that one we saved? What was the one we saved?
It was I'll Be Home for Christmas.
I'll Be Home for Christmas. I like that one. Maybe we find a little two-part deal with I'll Be Home for
And maybe
Christmas.
we'll get Jonathan Taylor Thomas in here
I was
too.
gonna say he's Stan. We gotta get Jonathan Taylor Thomas to Stan.
Don't be a hero, mate. You look after your mates, and your mates will always look after you. Yeah, cheers.
Yes, cheers indeed, as we head down to Australia for our Australian news segment. Thank you guys for coming on this ride with us. Have we got a wild ride for you? I call this one Earn to Be Back Home, or Yearn, play on word there, that single word that I was playing on. And it is a story of, there was floods in New South Wales, and it devastated a lot of homes. So I'm sorry for those people that had to endure that. Anyone has to endure a travesty and devastation such as that. But one family in particular, they lost a special piece of their family history, an urn. That's right. The urn was handed. This urn got washed away in a flood, but it was handed into police in November after it was found near a skip bin. And did a little research what a skip bin is. It's a dumpster. Dumpster, okay? Okay, you guys don't need to get fancy. It's just dumpster.
It's a little more regal the way they put it. A skip bin.
Skip bin. So they found that in a local business more than 30 kilometers away, which we know is more than 7 miles from where it was lost. Sergeant Ben Garrod began investigating the local funeral directors after noticing the urn bore the words Molly May Grinstead. So after some investigatorial work, this real detective here, Sergeant, found out who it belonged to. It was discovered that Molly had died in 2007, and her next of kin nephew, Peter Hart, had taken care of her ashes at his property by the Hawkesbury River in Lower Portland. So he got it back. He couldn't believe that he thought Molly's ashes had been lost in the floods forever, but they got Molly, came back home, in her home, which was her favorite place to be. And finally, she gets to rest there once again.
I'm telling you, man, this is just another testament to, I feel like a lot of people in the U.S. are just going to chuck that out. I don't know what this is. Chuck it. And it's just the fact that the guy opened an investigation. I can just picture this as like a little folk movie of just all right, we got some business to do. And it's just yarn. And they're just drawing connections to different areas. And then there's just a clerk who's y'all got Facebook?
You fucking check the 30-mile radius around here. I know someone's lost an urn.
There's a name on it. No, mate, shut up. We got an investigation going on here.
And that goes to show you that in life, you think you might be lost, but one day you shall be found. And the world around you, the people around you that you might take for granted, they're the ones that are coming to your rescue. They're out there. They might be, Jack Frost might be nipping at their nose, but Santa Claus is right there around you. And you might look like a little Dutch 13-year-old girl, even if you're a 30-year-old man. It's okay. It's what you identify as is what really matters deep inside you, because some people might be afraid of something like that, and that's okay for them to be afraid of it too. Everyone has their own thing to deal with, and it might be weird. Some people are afraid of talking gingerbread men. Some people are afraid of video games, and some people are even afraid of Santa Claus. That's right, big scary guy, very jolly. I wonder if he's Calipigian. I don't know if he's stacking that. We didn't investigate that much, but sometimes it's the story that you want to tell. It's the story that you want to go to, and sometimes that story is memory lane, and you feel that sunshine and those stars and those power-ups and those mushrooms just vibing through your open world, and giant rats. Best on goddamn rats, dude.
All right, here we go. We're pulling into the station. The recommendation station, that is. This is the part of the show where we make sure you walk away with nothing less than a sterling recommendation from one of us. I have mine this week. Adidas tracksuit pants. You can get the shirt if you want, but my whole thing is the tracksuit pants. I think the model that I'm talking about is the Tricot or the Tricot, Tricot. I got to be honest with you, man. Every time I look at these pants and I know I'm going to put them on, I smile. It's just, they're comfortable. They're a little airy down in the, loins. They get a nice movement in there, but they're never too cold. Like, they're not drafty where it's like you could wear them in the wintertime and still be warm at home. You got to get the style with the zipper along the edge too, because if you get too hot, you open that up and it's like you're venting. Dude, these are they're just designed with like the legs in mind.
Someone was thinking.
Someone was thinking about these. And like I said, the zipper style, it's the key to success with these pants. Highly recommend that if you do get them, they come with like their elastic waistbands, but they do have the tie. You're going to want to definitely put knots in those just to make sure, because the washer will kind of suck it out, and then you got to try to thread it back through. And that's that one's hard. So highly recommend Adidas tracksuit pants. I like the Tricot or the Tricot, whatever they call it.
Get the full two-piece if you're looking at Slav squat.
Slavs only for that. One last thing on this. I actually love them so much that I got my soon-to-be niece, soon-to-be as in she's not born yet. We got a little like 6-month-old tracksuit for her.
Nice.
So her and her dad and her uncle are going to be like kicking it together and squatting all over the place. Anyway, guys, that does it for this episode of the Velocity Chaos show. We are super happy to be here with all you out there watching, listening, ignoring us, whichever. We're just happy to be around. And I want to thank our DJ Basscoat for making it nice and smooth out here.
Hey, fellas, thanks for having me out here. It's always a good time.
And I want to thank my co-host Luke for all of his antics on today's show, all the humor, all the voices, a lot of contribution in that Boats, and he held with it the whole way pretty much. So yeah, just thank him for that. Guys, make sure you set your auditory listening to download, hit the subscribe button on the YouTubes, and hit us up on the socials. We love getting stories from our listeners for VCP. All right, guys, this is Nick signing off.
And this is Luke signing off. Thank you guys once again. We appreciate the hell out of you. We wouldn't be doing it. Yes, we would. But thank you guys for being here anyways. We appreciate it. Tell your friend, tell your grandma, tell your neighbor next door, and then have them, and they tell their neighbor. It's this whole cascade of domino effect of you guys telling people. Because you know why? Like we always say, it's a Donkey Kong country out there. Have a good one. Thank you for tuning in to the Velocity Chaos Podcast. We upload new episodes every Monday and Thursday. Be sure to subscribe and rate us on iTunes, Spotify, or your podcast platform of choice. Interact with us on Instagram at Velocity Chaos Pod or on Facebook and YouTube at Velocity Chaos Podcast. We are grateful for your time and hope you enjoyed it here. Please tell a friend, and thank you once again.